Wow! What's happening, everybody? Listen, we are back. I'm almost beyond thrilled to get back into the seat today to talk to my family. I love y'all. What's up to everybody that's logging in for the first time? Welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am he, your host, and today is another impactful show. Let me go into just I gotta get into it. Man, I gotta get into this because it's even since last week, the amount of people that connected with me, hit me up, called me, text me, smoke signaled me about redemption in athletics and athletes from last week was amazing. So I wanted to do a part two. That's right. I wanted to do a part two, and I can do with so many people, so many athletes, so many people that have done some amazing things. But I wanted to stick specifically and kind of hang on to that Olympics. Now I know yesterday was the closing ceremonies, and Paris done an amazing job, and I know you got people crying because that experience. When you leave that some type of experience like that, it gets a little sad to some people. But I want to dig right into it. But first, before I do that, let me just quickly say, please go to all of our social media platforms: LinkedIn, X, Instagram. What am I missing? YouTube, our YouTube channel, and Facebook. If you guys will go there, please, and just like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, send a message, regardless of what it is, you like it, you hate it, or whatever. Just go there and hang out with us. I am wanting to build our YouTube channel organically. I don't want people to just drop a whole bunch of numbers in there and it look like you got a whole bunch of people. I don't want to do that. I want to build it organically with people that are listening to us each week. So again, to everybody that's been riding with us for these last 4 seasons, thank you so much. I mean, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you. You could be doing anything else for these 30 minutes to an hour, doing anything else, but you selected some times out of your day, out of your week to listen to us, whether it's live or whether you listen to it recorded a little bit later. So I just want to say thank you. I don't know why this just popped in my head. I want to shout out my sister. Uh, I'm just say Tay. Now, I ain't gonna go into all our names because then y'all gonna be trying to figure out who that is. That ain't your business. I just want to shout out my sister for all of the wonderful things that she's been doing, and shout out to so many of the keeping me together, keeping me before I go crazy. So I just wanted to shout my sister out. What's good? So now let's get into this. You talk about redemption, and the greatest revenge is massive success, right? Whew. So this week, I kind of want to stay, like I shared, on the Olympic theme, but I want to talk this time, and again, a whole bunch of stories that come into play, but to what I consider, if not the greatest Olympic athlete ever, at least in the top three, and that's Simone Biles. I mean, she got routines named after. I mean, she steadily increases. Let me share something with you guys. When you have that level of a gift that she has, and that level of power that she has, where, and this is just my opinion, that they actually changed the rules because she had um, advanced so much and advanced so far from the rest of everyone else that they changed the rules to compete. Didn't matter. She still was dominant. So let's get into it. So let's get into the story of what I understand from the outside looking in, and share some principles of some of the things that are there, right? So first, she grew up and she got into gymnastics at a very early age. She did some amazing things and, just continued to compete. But she went through, all of the AAU circuits, if you will, and travel, I'll just say travel gymnastics and, so on. But she got to a point so she made a decision that she wanted to be great. So the question then becomes, how do you become great? at your craft or in your field. Remember, I'm just using athletics, but I'm drawing a parallel to you as the individual. Whatever your gift is, whatever your field is, draw this parallel. Let me pause here for a second. As you are listening to this, take notes. As you're listening to this, put yourself in focus mode. Listen, just for the next 30 minutes or so, push everything else away and just focus on the podcast, because this is talking about going into your greatness, right? This is going into your greatness. We're talking about the redemption, and we'll get into that. But this is going into your greatness. So you have what I consider, if not the greatest gymnast ever, she's definitely in the top two, all right? But if she's not, I don't know why it just popped in my head, Nadia Comaneci. I know some of you guys gonna be like, boy, where that name came from. I mean, I'm thinking when she started doing these tens and tens, now Simone is doing even greater than what most people consider was one of the greatest, if not the greatest gymnasts. She has surpassed that and doing more, talking about Simone. So let's look at going into how you get to that greatness point. Number one, are you willing to sacrifice? Ooh, let's talk about it. Are you truly willing to sacrifice? Now, here is the difference in what I mean by sacrifice. You can have sacrifices and say, well, I'm going to sacrifice and I'm just not going to eat any corn between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Okay, great. Some people say that's a sacrifice. Some people say that's not. Okay. But then there's other individuals going into that greatness that say, if I'm an athlete and I'm not supposed to eat corn, I'm not going to just not eat corn between 1 and 2 o'clock. What I'm going to do is I'm just not going to eat corn, period. But I love corn. I love everything about it. But as I'm training, going to the Olympics, or as I'm training, going to the NBA finals, or going to the NBA or the NFL, or going into this business conference, or going into this religious speaking engagement, whatever it is, are you willing to sacrifice that thing that you really truly love and like, I really do it? It may be you sacrificing watching TV. Let's talk about it. A lot of times we don't want to be real about it, but if you're talking about your greatness, not your cousin, not your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad, your greatness, what does that look like? So if Simone, that's considered one of the great, if I would say the greatest gymnast ever, and to this day, the greatest gymnast ever, and she's doing amazing things. She has been willing to sacrifice even some of the lazy things, some of the other things. She literally left her family to just train to be great. Who does that? When people literally train to be great, that means she removed all obstacles, all distractions, just to focus on being great. Now let's pause here and go into your field. You're in the business arena. What are you doing to focus on being great? If you're in a relationship or a marriage, what are you doing to be great? I'm not talking about the fake greatness. I'm talking about real greatness, right? If you're in athletics, what are you doing to be great? Let me share something with you. Run down this alley. And some of you guys last week, y'all know I talked about some of my story and we talk about redemption. Now we're getting into the redemption, but also what does that greatness look like, right? So let's talk about this. I had great talent when I played sports, just straight great talent, right? I was in high school. Now, again, this is not about me, but I'm sharing something and hope you can connect to this conversation. And middle school, high school, played sports, and I lettered in basketball and baseball for 4 years. I started as a freshman in basketball. I started as a freshman in baseball on the varsity team, not junior varsity. I hear people be talking about, oh, I'm good. I start JV. JV, what's that? What are you talking about? We talk varsity and above. Let's not get it confused, right? Um, so you sit there and you applaud people's accomplishment, but I mean 100 on this conversation because it's going to go into mindset, it's going to go into mental health, right? So I had the talent to do that, but at the time I didn't have the discipline to take it to the greatness level. Let's be honest. I had the talent to supersede people and start varsity in two different sports, but I didn't have the discipline to take it to the next level. See, I didn't want to go in the weight room and work out. I was never interested in the weight room. Never. Let me make sure I'm clear. Everybody that plays sports know you at some point you got to go into the weight room, right? Me, I wasn't interested. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Now I was only about a $102. Or I wasn't even a $105. I was about a $102. But guess what? I never had the discipline to go into the weight room to make my talent that much great. The work ethic, I had great work ethic, but I didn't want to practice. Here's what I mean when I want to practice. I know a lot of people talk about Allen Iverson and all of that shenanigans what the media try to do with him. When I say I didn't want to practice, I would go to practice. I would participate in all of the drills. I would do all that stuff, but I gave about 40%, maybe, right? And I'll never forget my high school football coach, and I'll tell y'all how I got to that later. He said somebody was saying something. I was getting beat like a drum, right? I was playing cornerback. I was getting beat like a drum in practice. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was like almost every other play I was getting. And I mean, my coach was so far up my butt, I was spitting his chew out. I mean, I was just, right? And then someone said something, and the coach jumped all over me and said, listen, you may be beating him in practice. You may be beating him in practice and all of that. But when game time comes, turn the lights on, it counts for real. I was one of the best, not just in my high school, but in the metro area in terms, as a matter of fact, I got recognized as being one of the top in terms of cornerbacks in my when I played in high school, right? So it's not about me. I'm just saying this to this point. But I didn't have the discipline to go to the weight room to work out to make me even better. I didn't have the discipline to go in the workroom or to do strengthening and conditioning. I didn't have the discipline to get on the track to increase my speed, or so on and so on and so on. I didn't have that discipline. Now let's go back to Miss Simone Biles. She had that discipline. She had that laser focus in what she was going to do. She had that dream and that vision. I'm going to take this to that next level, to that next level, to that next level. And then she just started winning world record after world record after world record. As a matter of fact, she was going to go to UCLA and enroll in college, right? And be on UCLA's college gymnastics team and all of that stuff. But she decided to go pro. She decided to go pro, as she said, that just wasn't in the cards. And she decided to go pro, and y'all see the results speak for themselves. So now let's go back to Stanley. Well, for me, once I got to a certain point in high school, well, the football teams didn't come run for me. The basketball teams didn't come run for me. They had baseball teams came run for me, but again, I didn't show the discipline and all of the different things. So yeah, I had some colleges and some universities, some great ones. I'm not going to go through names, but yeah, some great ones, letters and all of that stuff. You're being recruited, great. But I didn't have that discipline. In basketball, one of the coaches literally told me that they wanted to offer me a scholarship, but my attitude was absolutely atrocious. They didn't like my attitude. So now let's stop there. I had an opportunity to go to a couple of schools, but they didn't like my attitude. So again, I didn't work on the things that I needed to work on to become great, right? I just didn't do it. I just came out. I had the talent. I could outplay people. I was one of the best, all of that stuff, but I didn't have the discipline. I just didn't have the discipline when Simone Biles had the discipline, right? So now let's put this all in play, because we talk about being greatness. We talk about your redemption through athletics, but let's be honest. Do you have the discipline to fulfill your business, to do the things that you say you're going to do in business? See, you say you want to start a business, and that's great. We can start a business. But Just because you went to the Secretary of State and got your business registered, and you may have even gotten your federal your EIN number, and that's great. But then you stop there. And then you start talking about I'm thinking about it and what I'm gonna do, and maybe sort of kind of. Well, no, that's not going into your greatness. You don't really want this. See, some people they're working a job, which is great. I have nothing against that. Do your thing. They're making a great salary. That's great. Do your thing. But then they will say, Stanley, I don't like my job, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then when you ask them, and I'm not going to go through all the questions, but when you ask them, well, what is it that you want? I want to start my own business. And you ask them, well, why not? Let's go start your business. And then it becomes excuses. See, they're not ready for prime time. Why was not ready for prime time? I didn't want to go through all of the rigmaroles and go into the weight room and got to go into strength and conditioning and eat in a certain way. No, I just wanted to do it my way. The hint, that's a nugget. Ding, ding, ding. How many of us out there just really want to do it our way and not do it in terms of being great, but we just want to do it our way? You can't do it your way. That's like me talking to Muhammad Ali and telling him how to box. That just don't work. That just don't work, right? So when you're looking at it and you're looking at the greatness of Simone Biles, and now she got several routines named after her. Think about that. She has several routines named after her. Well, how many routines you have named after you? How many business schools you have named after you? How many people are seeking for you to come speak because of the prolific way you speak? So let's look at ourselves, because we talk about going great, right? So now all of this is going on, and we understand that now we can acknowledge we have work to do. There's no more excuses on this podcast. It's only you and I talking, and there's nothing no one else can say or do. Only you can understand that I have to get better. I'm fortunate enough to serve as president of our company by the name of One Voice Worldwide. Phenomenal company, right? And in the company, we do a lot of things on self-development, mindset, thoughts, and trainings, and all of those things. And a lot of times when we talk to people, just talk to people, people will talk a good game, but then when it's time, as I said, the rubber meets the road, then you can't find them. They're not really willing to put in the work. See, when you're talking about being great, you're talking about being a millionaire, you're talking about being one of the greatest athletes ever, all of those things, you're going to have to sacrifice. You cannot rely on you, just and I'm going to do it my way. So number one, you got to sacrifice. Number two, you can't have it your way. This is not Burger King. You can't have it your way when you're talking about being great. Let me also share this with you on your spiritual journey. On your spiritual journey, a lot of times I didn't realize how selfish I was. Yeah, let's talk about it. We just gonna expose all of it today, right? So I didn't realize how selfish I was until God started asking me to do certain things that I absolutely did not want to do. Let me give you an example. You talk about losing weight, and let's say you like Doritos, right? Doritos, and you want Doritos. I don't know, I'm making this up. Let's say you want Doritos and pickles at night, right? With a soda. That's what you want. Or you want ice cream every single night. Well, that's not good for your figure if you're trying to lose weight. That's bringing in more calories. Or you want to have some alcohol. Nothing against alcohol. It's up to you what you drink, what you eat, all that stuff. I'm just making a point. But every day you're doing that. Well, that carries a whole bunch of calories. And you, instead of going to a space and saying, you know what? My trainer said I have to give this up, I have to give this up, I have to give this up. And you're like, hold on, I don't want to do that. You're like me when I was in high school. I didn't want to go to the weight room, right? But the Simone Biles of the world, what did she do? She went to the weight room. She gave up the food that she had to give up. The spirituality part, wherever you are, your creator is telling you to do something. Go ahead on and do it, because sometimes he's not moving you away from something. He's moving you. Matter of fact, not sometimes, he's not moving you away from something. He's always moving you to something that's going to serve you greater. So how do you serve yourself? You're going into greatness. You're denying yourself. Now here's what happens next. As Simone begins to do her thing and become successful, and people starting to recognize her and all her name, and now they didn't change the rules and did all of those things, and yet she consistently become more and more powerful. She continued to redeem herself, and okay, they did this, they threw all of these things into her lap. She started making lemonade out of a pile of poop, right? She was doing all of the great things and right things. But now let's get into something that began to weigh. And this is when I say we never know what people are going through. So you never want to talk about somebody or throw sticks and stones at somebody because we never know what they're going through. So she started going through some stuff and you got to the Tokyo Olympics, right? In 2020, she got to the Tokyo Olympics and she was a heavy favorite to win all around, to win this, to win this, to win this. And then all of a sudden, the first thing, and she fell. And then she said, she was just done. She was out of mentally. She was out of it. Mentally, she was not there. All athletes understand if you're not mentally there, you cannot perform. For those individuals that may not have ever been an athlete, it's a zone that athletes are in and they get into mentally. What is no destruction, it is just straight focus. But when you can't get into that space and everything is coming against you, you have to take care of your mental health. Now, why am I saying about the mental health? Is because whether you talk business, whether you talk spirituality, whether you talk athletics, whether you talk medical field, you have to be focused. If you're a surgeon and you got so many other things going on and you're not focused, you don't go do that surgery right now until you get yourself right here. If you're starting that business and you got to talk to some people, you're going to talk to someone, let's say in, I don't know, California, about a business deal or a contract, and you're not focused on that, don't do it. Push it back, postpone it, whatever you can do until you get your mental clarity. So now you can go and produce the way you need to produce. Make sure you're getting your rest. Make sure you're eating properly. All of those things come right on back. So as you're now, whether you're a business person, whether you're in the medical field, whether you are an athlete or whatever, make sure now you're in that space that your mental is strong. So here's the thing what I want to talk about with Simone and her mental and how I was so, I don't know her, but how I was so incredibly proud of when she was talking about taking care of her mental. The media turned against her, hint, hint, ding, ding, ding. How many times have the media turned against you? Right? The media turned against her. People was talking all kind of craziness and get yourself together and all of this other stuff, spewing all kind of negativity. And I mean, beating her down. As a matter of fact, now this is another nugget. I think this is very important. Ding, 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 ding on this one is Simone took I'll say a leave of absence, lack of words, to get her mental together. Now think about this. One of the most accomplished athletes of all time had to literally take a step away of the actual sport she loves to get her mind together just to make it seem, just to get to a point, not make it seem, but just to get to a point to where she can actually go and compete at a high level. How strong is that? So here is the question. How many of us have lost our confidence in whatever field or discipline that you're in? And we never took a leave of absence. We just kept going and going and going. Listen, your mental health is more important than any job, business, career, or anything in between. Because if you're not there mentally, you're not going to be able to produce the greatness that you are. Okay? So if you're struggling right now in your field, and you know the supervisor came at you or your sponsors came at you and all of those other things and nagging, you know, ask them just for you know, some time that you can get that refresh and be able to focus on you and be able to focus on where you're going and to be able to produce your greatest self. So what happens with Simone? So she took about 2 years off, and maybe a little bit more. I don't remember the exact time. Let's say about 2 years off, and then she started training for Paris. but she was going to compete in the world championships, right? But if you listen to the story, it took a lot of time to redeem herself because one, she had to block out all of the naysayers in the media. She had to block out all of the naysayers that was around her. And literally, and then she got married, and now she had to block out all of the naysayers about her marriage. How crazy is that? People are telling you now about your marriage and trying to spew off negativity and talk about other crazy things in her marriage. Again, all distractions. But what does a champion do? Put all of that aside and say, let me go get it. The lights turned on, and she became one of the, what, power. She produced excellence when she had to. And she began making it look like it was easy, even as she was talking to counselors and advisors in terms of her mental health and her mental strength. Then she started advising other athletes. This was good. That, listen, in your mental capacity, we first need to make sure that you're mentally strong. So for those family that's listening to you guys, that's listening to us in from One Voice, our One Voice family, you think about the part where we're talking about empowerment, and you talk about some of the things that we do is talk about the mindset, and all of that stuff, and personal development. All of this going into your mental health as well, because we are not always taught how to be wealthy. And I'm not talking about money wealth. I'm talking about all of the things your mental or your health, wealth in your health, right? Anybody ever been broke or sick and can enjoy money? No, you're trying to get healthy, right? So that your intellectual health or wealth. What about your social wealth? What about your relationship wealth? And I could go on and on and on. I'm not trying to go through all of the principles of wealth, but you guys understand what I mean from that standpoint, right? So if you are listening to this and you are going through some stuff, but you need a mental break, take a day off and do whatever it is that you have to do to get your mental strength up, because guess what? You are important. You matter. So now what happened is, now that Simone has gotten her mental strength up, right? And now she's starting to train for the World Olympics. Guess what happened? This is where you go from a champion to elite. She saw another gymnast that was struggling by the name of Jordan Childs. And she asked her to move from, I think she was wherever she was living on the West Coast, to move to Texas. This is powerful. To move to Texas to train at the gym that Simone Biles now owns, right? After going through all of the mental work that Simone Biles had to do, she plucked out another superior athlete, have them to sacrifice from her comfort zone to move to Texas to train at the gym Simone Biles actually owns. Then she said, what was at the gym? They didn't work on routines. They didn't work on great, splits and whatever all of the technical language is. They didn't work on that. The very first thing that they worked on was the mindset, the mental capacity, the strength of your mind, and began helping Jordan Childs not focus. This is when everybody else threw her away. This is when everybody else said she's a big disappointment. Again, here's the media doing their thing, right? Spewing negativity. People around her spewing negativity, but yet the greatest gymnast to ever live saw something in her and went and plugged her to help her move forward. Now, great friends, all of those other things, they went on to the Olympics and competed. Now Jordan Childs got I think it was the team competition gold medal. She also got a gold medal. I'm sorry, not gold medal, bronze medal in the floor exercise. Are you kidding me? Now think about how powerful that is. Not only did Simone Biles, I think, win 3 golds and a silver, but then she helped her her friend, to do the same thing. Went on and she competed. She made the Olympic team. She got a gold medal. She got an individual bronze medal. You can't tell me that the mental capacity didn't work. So what's your greatest redemption of athletes or in business or whatever? The greatest revenge is massive success. As an athlete, the Olympic is probably the biggest stage in the world. And both of those ladies got gold medals after going through so many things mentally, after being, the odds are stacked against them, all of that stuff. And let me just say this, and this is not to be, from a standpoint, I'm trying to make this about race and a religion or any of those things, but both of those happen to be young Black ladies or young Black females. Now they have, unfortunately, have some things stacked against them as well. But in spite of all of those odds, they still went on and performed at the highest level. Now, let's bring it back to you. You may be struggling mentally. Well, whatever it is that you're doing, you may be struggling mentally, and that's okay. That is okay. But what are you doing to take that next step? You need someone, you need to talk to some people, whether it's a counselor. Now, let me just pause you with this. Let me just say this. Everybody can't be your counselor, everybody can't be your mentor, everybody can't be your coach. Let me just put this out there. Because I'm sick and tired of these people that tell me they're gonna be a coach and have never been through nothing. They just want to do this to get some money. No, we're not doing that anymore. That's poo-poo. We're not doing that anymore. You have to have somebody that can mentally coach you, train you, teach you, or what have you, and take you to another step and take you to another level. Not somebody that just want to check. It's not always about a dollar. Sometimes you got to pour into people. Let's think about this. Who are you? Who's poured into you, and who are you pouring into? You know, there's a saying that if you show me your the 5 people you hang around the most, I'll tell you who you are, right? So if you look at your 5 around you, what is that saying? What is that saying? Do you want to be great? And I'm not talking about wealth wise, to say money wise. I'm saying, do you want to be great? What do you want to be remembered as? What is your purpose here on earth? So when you're redeeming yourself and you wondering why so many things are coming for you, you understand why you're here. You understand you need to focus. You understand you need to sacrifice some things in order to be great, in order to be the person that your creator created you to be. So as Simone did that, right? Now all of a sudden she owns a gym. Now she's a business person. She's married. She's happy. She now came back, and I call it her redeem tour. Now she literally crushed people. 3 gold medals and a silver. Are you kidding me? You cannot ask for anything greater than that. And you help someone else get to that point as well, where she got a gold medal and a bronze medal. So now you're now not just doing it for yourself, but now you're reaching back and helping other people. Let me say this last point, because it gets, as they say, it gets real gooder. It gets real gooder. So you're talking about reaching back, right? Let me share my side. You know, in our company, One Voice Worldwide, there was a position called Crown Ambassador. I'm not going to go through this, and you want to find that out, hit me up directly. I'm going to share that with you, because right now we're doing something that's amazing. I mean, truly amazing. So I was able to get to the point where I became the top producer in the company. I hit the top of the company, but here's this. Let me share this on June 5th, 2011, 6/5/2011. I became what's called a Crown Ambassador. But not only did I become a Crown Ambassador, we also helped somebody else become a Crown Ambassador. Why am I sharing that? It's the same thing. Each one teach one, right? Can you produce not just for yourself, but ask some or help somebody else to produce? You know, there's a lady by the name of Linda Johnson. She did the same thing with her girlfriend by the name of Tracy Coleman, right? Again, helping you produce as a business person, as an athlete, as a coach, as a mentor. What are you producing? If you're not producing anything, it is okay, because this is the day you are cleared for takeoff. Today. Today is Monday. You are cleared for takeoff. What is it? Monday, August the 12th, I think it is. You are cleared for takeoff. So now let's run this all back. Redemption. People have been talking about you. You've been the black sheep of the family. You have been the one that you never fit into anything at school, at work, or any extracurricular activities. You're that person that just kind of fit out. You always knew inside of you that is just something about me it's just different, but you were never able to articulate it. Have you ever considered that you're that one, that you're that next Simone Biles, that you're that next X person, right? I like something Simone Biles said. It was like, oh, are you like the next Michael Jordan, or are you the next some athlete to name? She said, no, I'm the first Simone Biles. Make sure you get yourself together. Do you have enough confidence to walk in that light and back it up? See, a lot of people talk about bragging, but when you become a producer, whether it's in athletes or athletics, whether it's in business, whether it's in medical, and so many other industries, you can talk a good game, but can you back it up? Can you back it up? See, when my high school football coach told everybody that day, but when you turn the lights on, he produces. Which actually, my senior year, I became Metro Wide, one of the top cornerbacks, Metro Wide in New Orleans, right? And I'm trying to go through all my accolades, all that stuff. It's not about me, but I was producing. I was producing. Led the team in intercepts. Was in the top, I think, 2 or 3 in intercepts in the whole state. I was producing. But now, if you go back and what everybody was talking about, oh, you getting beat like a drum in practice. Yeah, it's practice. I'm getting tore up. I ain't even gonna lie. I was about to bench my own self. But Lord, when they turn the lights on, strap it up. Put that equipment on, strap it up. Put that chin strap on, strap it up. That's no. We're not gonna talk now. We're gonna produce. When you're going into that business meeting, you got that business meeting that you have to do in front of all of these top level CEOs, and you have to produce. You have to do a presentation. Are you going to produce, or are you going to fold? I suggest you produce. As a matter of fact, I know you can produce. So you, as that greatest person in you, produce. See, there's nobody else can be you but you. So see, when you produce, remarkable things happen. When you walk in your light, remarkable things happen. So as your greatest redemption, and I say greatest redemption in athletes, we saw what Simone Biles done. We saw how she also produced another in Jordan Childs. Now imagine that greatness, imagine that magic of what's going on. Now we're excited. Now we're doing some amazing things, because not only did you change your life, you also was able to help somebody else change your life. So my question is, what are you producing? What are you producing? I suggest you continue to produce greatness. If you're not producing greatness now, no worries, hit me up. Let's talk about it, and let's produce greatness. If you're about to go and do a sermon or a speaking engagement, produce. I mean, hit them so hard to where they gotta call you back. You don't need a compliment. You don't. If you're in band, I remember I was talking to Dr. Orman, Dr. Sam Orman. I remember he was talking about uh, in the band in the year they won the Sutler Award, and how that's just basically the Heisman Trophy for bands, and how when they were at FAMU, they had such an incredible performance. The crowd was in awe. They didn't even know how to clap, because it was like they've never seen anything like that before. My question to you is this: they've never seen you before. Your authenticity is going to come out. Give them the actual level of greatness that you are, and watch what happens. You're not going to have to ask them to come back. They're going to beg you to come back because of how you produced for them. Guys, I'm telling you, the greatest revenge is massive success. You talking about redemption? Yeah, you got it. Don't worry about what those people in the neighborhood say. They ain't going anywhere anyway. You got it. You redeeming yourself? Let's go. You needed some words of inspiration? Here it is. You needed some power? Here it is. Believe in yourself. Believe in you. Believe in your creator and who he created you to be. Walk in your purpose and in your greatness. Be your why. Be the person that you're looking for so you can be the attraction and not the repellent. My friends, my family, keep growing. Your redemption is now here. Now walk into your life. Be who you are. Be your greatest self and watch all of the magical things happen. Man, I'm telling you, it is amazing. So shout out to Miss Simone Biles and all of her greatness and what she did. And as I call it, her redemption tour. Shout out to Miss Jordan Childs for all of her redemption tour and all the things that she's done. As a matter of fact, I think recently she just announced she's headed back to UCLA for her junior year at UCLA. So, she's going to take some time off again, keeping that mental together, and then come back and be amazing. Guys, I love y'all. I want to see y'all produce. Hit me up directly. When I say hit me up directly, I mean hit me up directly. Call me, well, you don't call me. Everybody don't have my number. So, but shoot me a message. Go to YouTube and shoot me a message, right? Shoot me a message on Facebook or whatever it may be, because I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to be massively successful. And whatever I can do, we want to do that to help you grow. So wherever you are around the world, wherever you are in your kitchen right now, or you ride down the street listening to the podcast, whether you are mopping the floor or you're cutting grass, listen, we're here for you. And we have some massive success to continue to push forward. I love you guys. Let's make this thing work. Remember, you are who you've been looking for. And because of that, there are people waiting for your greatness, and you're going to bless them tremendously. That being said, I love you guys. Make sure you go to all of our social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. We're growing that organically. I love you guys who've already been there. Thank y'all, and keep going forward. Keep pushing forward. Remember, it's LET''S. Let's talk with Stanley Doucette. Let's talk with Stanley Doucette. Or you can go to letstalkwithstanleydoucette.com, where we house all of our actual podcasts and all that stuff. So, we do what we do. All right. So again, hit me up. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback, your questions, your thoughts, your comments, all of that good stuff. That being said, I love you guys, and I will see you guys on the beaches of the world. God bless, and I'll see you guys next week for one of the most powerful, powerful podcasts ever. God bless. Peace.